When we step into roles, it's about lived experience. The Shaw role is written for a man shaped by time, not someone fresh out of their 20s. Growth takes years, and the same is true for Hobbs. That character is built on scars, history, and lessons only age can teach. Jason Statham, Hollywood's relentless action star, with his piercing stare, stripped-down grit, and death-defying stunts, is famously quiet, away from the spotlight. Yet when he finally breaks the silence, it lands like dynamite. In a blunt admission, Statham exposed 6 actors he refuses to share the screen with. From long-standing resentments to ego-driven rivalries and clashing values, these aren't passing dislikes, they're deep-seated conflicts. Here, we reveal every person he singled out, examine what fueled the fallout, and expose the drama hidden from glossy headlines. Were these battles their fights, or is there a hidden layer nobody talks about? Hold on tight. This is Jason Statham as you've never imagined him. First up, Vin Diesel. No fan could have predicted it, not even the die-hard Fast and Furious faithful. Statham, famed for his icy precision and unflinching intensity, just ripped open one of Hollywood's most guarded rifts. At the heart of it all stands Vin Diesel, the dominant force of the Fast saga, and the embodiment of Dominic Toretto. Their rivalry, invisible to casual audiences, had been bubbling quietly for years. The spark ignited on the set of Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. Statham's Deckard Shaw, a ruthless yet calculated anti-hero, was designed to stand opposite Diesel's Toretto, but the chemistry never truly fused. Beneath the glitter of fast cars and fiery stunts, unease simmered. Press interviews gave away quiet signals. The Rock and Statham joked with ease, their banter sharp and playful, while Diesel appeared distant, stiff, and noticeably missing from many shared appearances. Statham later revealed that his biggest issue stemmed from Diesel's conduct during filming. Working with him felt like dealing with a teenager in a heavyweight's frame, Statham remarked. Showing up late, rewriting scenes, pushing for constant tweaks to boost his image over others, it wore people down. I enjoy tough projects, but I won't nurse fragile egos. That's not the reason I act. Industry insiders echoed this view. Determined to keep Toretto's alpha aura alive, Diesel often demanded adjustments that kept him at the center, inevitably clashing with Statham's Shaw, who was meant to shine in his own right. The clash wasn't limited to the job. It spilled into personal ground, fueled by opposite approaches and a silent battle for control of the spotlight. Even with mounting strain, Statham stayed carefully measured when speaking publicly. When pressed about the feud between Diesel and Johnson during Fast 8, he dodged the matter altogether. "I avoid squabbles or disputes others may have. It's not my business, and I prefer not to get dragged into it," Statham said to People magazine. "My bond with Dwayne is solid, and I intend to keep it intact." His statement carried both caution and intent. Admit there's heat, but don't feed the fire. Yet beneath the calm words, Statham's dislike showed. He prized discipline, professionalism, and respect for the work, things he believed Diesel occasionally ignored. While Diesel poured effort into preserving Toretto's legend and boosting ventures like his brand and supplements, Statham looked for fairness, for respect toward the script and the ensemble, not ego-driven changes. Diesel himself has seldom answered Statham's remarks in the press. Privately, whispers suggest Diesel recognizes Statham's skill, but views him as a threat, someone bold enough to test Toretto's place in a saga tied to Diesel's identity. Over time, reports claim the strain has softened, especially once Hobbs and Shaw gave Diesel space to push the Toretto arc, while Statham's Shaw carved his own story. By 2025, the feud isn't explosive anymore, but it hasn't disappeared. What binds them now is a professional respect shaped by circumstance. Blockbusters filled with car crashes and explosions can't hide the tension that still lingers. Statham keeps chasing roles that require grit and physical dedication, while Diesel continues as the face of Fast and Furious, the franchise's dominant figure. On screen, their careers intertwine, but off-screen, they keep a measured space, recognizing some clashes are best left unseen. Ultimately, Statham's bluntness reminded the industry that polished blockbuster sets still carry clashes of ego just beneath the surface. "I had a great time with the crew," Statham admitted, "but if handling someone's ego becomes part of the job, I'm not sticking around." That remark revealed a rare crack in the facade. Beneath the spectacle of cars and fireballs, even tough guy stars draw a line, and they're willing to speak it out loud. Second on the list, Steven Seagal. For Statham, the defining word has always been authenticity. Each blow, chase, and stare he delivers on screen is backed by years of sweat and practice. In his view, action is not mere acting, it's a discipline. He honors the grind, the repetition, the effort that makes a fight scene look raw instead of staged. So when Seagal's name surfaced, Statham spoke without pause. He cut right through the legend. "I trained in martial arts for years. He turned it into theater," Statham snapped. "He's a clown pretending to be Bruce Lee, but Bruce actually earned it." That statement landed with the force of a storm. For Statham, it wasn't a grudge. It was about staying true. His climb from lock, stock, and two smoking barrels to the transporter was built on effort and scars. He trained, fought, struggled, and proved himself. To him, Seagal embodied the opposite: swollen ego, empty myth, a man performing mastery instead of living it. Seagal naturally wasn't amused by the stripe. In a seldom given interview, he brushed off Statham with the same icy detachment that has long set him apart in Hollywood. "Jason's got skills as a stunt guy, but he's nowhere near my league. He doesn't grasp my influence on martial arts in cinema." It was pure Seagal, grand, unreachable, and heavy with ego. Over the years, Seagal's standing fell from enigmatic action star to late-night punchline, dragged down by tales of arrogance on set, strange lawman escapades, and questionable legends about his past. Statham's comments didn't invent that perception. They simply echoed what insiders already believed. Those close to the business insist the collision between them was bound to happen. Statham's body of work stands as the opposite of what Seagal became. No stand-ins, no gimmicks, no exaggerated myths, only dedication and precise delivery. While Statham champions realism and toughness, Seagal relies on bravado and self-image. Their feud never erupted into public spectacle, but the rift is impossible to miss. Statham shows no desire to repair the divide. His blunt words made that plain. Seagal, for his part, dismisses every critic while disappearing deeper into his peculiar bubble. To this day, there's no apology, no gesture, no attempt at peace, only a frozen distance that says it all. For Jason Statham, Steven Seagal isn't competition. He's a warning. And in the cutthroat world of action movies, that may be the harshest verdict possible. Number 3. Shia LaBeouf. Jason Statham has always had little tolerance for Hollywood games. From his early days in stunts to becoming one of the most reliable box office names, his philosophy has remained consistent: arrive, deliver, no complaints. He's built success on toughness and precision, not meltdowns and tabloid chaos. So when Shia LaBeouf's name entered the picture, it caught people off guard. On the surface, the two couldn't be further apart. Statham, the grounded enforcer; LaBeouf, the unpredictable star turned provocateur. They never worked together on screen, yet friction still found its way between them. It started with a project that collapsed before it began. We were in talks for a film a few years ago. Studio was hyped. I wasn't. Said he wasn't the right fit. He found out and fired off a message. Let's just say it wasn't exactly professional. What Statham chose not to say carried more weight than what he voiced. LaBeouf's pattern of reckless behavior, bar fights, meltdowns on set, and method acting pushed too far filled in the rest. Statham, who prizes order over chaos, recognized in LaBeouf everything he couldn't stand. "Some actors crave the label of tortured genius," Statham said bluntly. "I just want to finish the job without someone screaming in their trailer." LaBeouf refused to let it slide. Insiders revealed he raged at being brushed off as wrong for the part and snapped back with sharp words. "Jason's just a brawler, not a real actor," he allegedly told a close friend. It was classic Shia, angry, combative, unwilling to budge. Matters escalated when whispers tied Statham to the Transformers series. Just as LaBeouf stepped away, speculation rose that Rosie Huntington-Whiteley's partner could step in for him. For LaBeouf, who had fronted 3 massive hits, the thought cut deep. One insider said he took it as Hollywood trying to wipe him out in an instant. What looked like a passing spat grew into a battle of outlooks. Statham viewed professionalism as obligation, while LaBeouf claimed disorder fueled creativity. Neither man valued the other's philosophy, and neither gave ground. Even now, the feud hasn't exploded, yet the chill never faded. They keep apart, avoid overlap, and when questioned, Statham answers curtly. LaBeouf delivers his jabs with bite. "We're just not built the same way," Statham admitted in one exchange, and he left it there. But beneath his calm lies a divide still raw. A reminder that in Hollywood, the fiercest fights can happen without cameras rolling. Number 4. Jared Leto. Jason Statham has never cared for grand gestures. For him, acting is straight. Arrive, know the script, hit the cues, and let performance speak. No frills, no drama, no sideshow. So when Jared Leto's name came up, sparks were inevitable. They nearly collided on a dark thriller stuck in pre-production. From the beginning, Statham couldn't believe what he saw. Leto didn't enter the room as Jared Leto. He arrived fully immersed in his role. He remembered it with a mix of disbelief and contempt. Leto refused to drop character, insisted on being addressed by it, and wouldn't even shake hands, saying it broke immersion. "It's like, mate, this is just a coffee chat. Calm down," Statham sighed and made his call instantly. "I couldn't care less how convincing you look on film. The moment I have to manage someone's ego to get the job done, I'm gone." That marked where the divide started, and Statham made no effort to hide his stance. Later on, in an interview about method performers, he spoke without filters. "I'm not here to act out someone else's illusion. My purpose is to create movies. There's a fine line between passion and being a constant headache." It wasn't long before the comments reached Leto. True to his style, he shot back with his trademark cryptic, almost spiritual tone. "Some performers strike, others pretend. I prefer to vanish. If that unsettles anyone, maybe they fear honesty." The strike was indirect, but the message wasn't lost. Leto viewed himself as the visionary, Statham as the craftsman. For Hollywood veterans, their friction symbolized 2 paths that rarely converge. Statham, the pragmatic action professional built on focus and rigor. Leto, the self-proclaimed prophet of acting, willing to hurt, isolate, and unravel himself if it meant reaching the soul of a character. Did their tension fade with time? Hardly. They've never worked side by side, and those familiar with both say it won't happen. Statham sidesteps films with Leto attached, while Leto almost wears Statham's dismissal as a mark of pride. Even now, they exist as opposites, sharing the same industry circle, yet never crossing paths. Statham still thrives on stripped-down, fuel-injected cinema. Leto continues to unsettle audiences with total metamorphosis. Between them lingers a quiet pact. No teaming up, no patching wounds, no compromise. Because in Jason Statham's world, there's no place for heart-to-heart coffee shop confessions. And in Jared Leto's universe, acting is meaningless unless you breathe it non-stop. Number 5. Mark Wahlberg. Jason Statham has never been one to dress up his words. He communicates like his fight scenes, blunt, fierce, and without wasted effort. So when he finally gave his take on Mark Wahlberg, it wasn't softened with politeness or Hollywood gloss. It cut deep, almost like a scalpel, in how decisively he laid it out. Their history went back years. During The Italian Job in 2003, both were part of the flashy early 2000s crew. On screen, the chemistry looked natural. Behind the camera, however, crew whispers pointed to friction. Statham arrived early, prepared to hammer through exhausting stunt practices. Wahlberg entered with a whole different vibe. Statham later said he was the type who turned every moment into his own spotlight. Constant jokes, delays because he was busy plugging his burger chain on calls. Filming a movie isn't about managing someone's brand. What cut deepest for Statham was the image he believed Wahlberg was faking. He keeps selling this Boston tough guy role like he never left The Departed, Statham scoffed. Then you catch him on private jets giving business talks for his supplement empire. Don't sell me the blue-collar act. For Statham, it was more than a performance. To him, it was a lie against being real. Wahlberg, naturally, wasn't about to stay silent. Later interviews showed him smiling it off, though his responses had bite. He said, "Jason takes everything so heavy, maybe heavier than it should be." Wahlberg claimed he liked to keep sets playful and relaxed. If that's a crime, then he was guilty and proud. And when pressed about Statham's criticism, Wahlberg shot back with a laugh. "At least I don't hide behind stunt doubles to look hard." Statham never clapped back publicly, but insiders said the grudge burned him. The grudge never exploded, only resurfacing in small bursts. Producers tried floating them together again for another buddy flick, but both men shut it down. "Chemistry doesn't exist," one insider explained. "They'd sooner skip the payday than face each other again." So where's it all landed now? Neither man has made peace, and neither has gone nuclear. Not war, not friendship, just a frozen standoff. Both orbit Hollywood's center, measuring the other's reach, but staying out of collision. To Statham, it's still about principle. Wahlberg is Hollywood's poster child for branding over backbone. To Wahlberg, Statham is the stubborn opposite, locked into his code with no room to breathe. Whatever hint of partnership The Italian Job teased years ago, it ended the day filming wrapped. Number 6. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. In Hollywood, egos don't just rub, they blast. When Statham and Johnson crossed paths in Furious and Furious, it wasn't just fiction, it was two alpha figures refusing second place. That rivalry began quietly in Furious 7. Producers revealed both stars had contracts guaranteeing the same thing. Neither Hobbs nor Shaw could ever lose on screen. A detail so small became a nightmare for fight coordinators. Every move, punches, headbutts, throws, had to be balanced to keep both untarnished. Veteran producer Michael Fattrell admitted it was like a diplomatic chess match. No man left looking weak. Even Vin Diesel stepped in, creating a tally system to keep the score tied. Statham later admitted the strangeness, telling an interviewer, "We're not fighting, we're bartering blow by blow. Balance it or someone walks away mad." Johnson, always open about alpha clashes, countered with his own spin. "It's never simple when you've got two alphas, but here's the thing, I'll always honor a man who shows up prepared." Respect, however, didn't clear the friction. Word from set was that Statham, disciplined and precise, thought Johnson leaned too heavy on brute strength and charisma. Johnson, raised on WWE where spectacle rules, thought Statham's dead serious demeanor was rigid. By the time The Fate of the Furious came around, the tension was obvious enough for Universal to act. They split the pair into their own film, Hobbs and Shaw. Fans thought it was a prize. Insiders said it was survival. The only way to protect the main saga was to fence the rivalry off into its own corner. When Hobbs and Shaw finally hit the big screen, something unexpected unfolded. Rather than falling apart, Their dynamic clicked. Statham openly complimented The Rock, calling him flawless to work with, a perfect 10. He's sharp, calm, and careful. You'll never catch him swinging too hard by accident. Johnson, for his part, eased his approach. Jason ranks among the finest action performers alive. They may clash often, but ultimately, their craft speaks louder than conflict. So what's the situation now? The clash that nearly fractured the Fast and Furious franchise has cooled into mutual respect. They're not bonding over drinks after a shoot, yet they've managed to find steady ground. As one insider explained, they're not close, but they understand their need for each other. The reality is, Jason Statham and The Rock might never share true friendship, yet their rivalry shaped one of cinema's most memorable action pairings. Perhaps that exact tension is what keeps Hollywood thriving. With that, the rundown is finished. 6 names Jason Statham ensured no one in the industry would dismiss. Every feud reveals more than celebrity drama. It's about ego, recognition, and the sparks that fly when giants collide under the spotlight. But where do you stand? Were Statham's battles fair, or just the inevitable crash of oversized egos on set? Share your thoughts in the comments. And remember to hit like and subscribe for more stories. You'll definitely want to see what's coming next.